Yes, my dear.
Does the opposite sometimes occur because what we're asking for, let's say we're asking for a better relationship, a healthier relationship, better community, whatever. And so maybe our current relationship has to end for us to find the person that we would have that better relationship with. So it feels like it's getting worse before it's getting better. Is that possible?
Absolutely possible, and it happens every day.
Or I want to make more money at my job, but really have to lose my job in order to get this other job. Okay.
Here we go again. Absolutely possible.
So we don't know how it's going to be manifested. We're just putting it out there.
Yes, but that's correct in my view. That's my experience as well. But I do think that it's not necessary for us to, well, let me back up. The first thing that we are invited by life to do when the law of opposites plays its effect is to understand what's going on and not resist it. Do not oppose what is being made manifest. Do not oppose, compose.
I like that.
Do not oppose, compose. That is, compose your next most desirable reality. Don't oppose, compose. And the first thing you should do is compose yourself. Because if you don't, when the opposite appears, you will think that you've blown it. It's not working. Something is wrong. Instead of embracing the opposite as the immediate, sure, and certain sign that everything is right. Now, masters who understand this move in an entirely different direction from the rest of us when that which opposes them appears. They move into it rather than away from it. That is, they look right into the face of the lion. And we run from it. But of course, that which you resist persists. So by resisting it, we literally place it there in larger form. Instead of running from it, welcome it. When I and God has blessed you. Why ask for something that's already been done? When I am opposed by something, when I choose to experience something and I am opposed by it, I move right into the fullness of it. I start moving toward it rather than running from it. And I see what I can do, how I can manipulate that new incoming data, which seems to be opposing me. Use that data rather than running from it. Use the data and manipulate the data to produce the outcome that I originally intended to produce. That's why it's important for you to know about the law of opposites, because if you don't know about the law of opposites, you will think that the law of attraction has not worked for you. And you'll drop the whole thing right there and be mad as hell and want your money back from the producers of the film. You got it? So the first thing we do is to notice what's happening and to play with it, to dance with it, to notice, well, of course my relationship is going down the drain because I called for a better relationship, more communication. So naturally, the first thing that happens is he wants out. Totally get that. And maybe I do have to manifest the end of this relationship to have the better one that I want. Or maybe I do have to lose this job to have the better one that I want. But I will not mourn the loss of this relationship. I will not mourn the loss of this job, but see it as a blessed part of the process of personal creation. And use the data from this seemingly opposing experience to create the experience that I want. To be specific, I want a better relationship. Your relationship starts falling apart. It ends. You're devastated. Oh my God, I'm devastated. that which you resist persists. If you move right into the experience fully and use the data, you suddenly use what you learned in that relationship to create the next relationship that is grander and higher than you ever could have imagined. And the day will come when you will thank that first relationship for ending and all that you learned from it when you pulled the data from it to apply to the next best thing. And you will say, in fact, I couldn't have had this relationship without that one falling apart. See, when your life, listen to this, and put this on your refrigerator. When your life looks like it's falling apart, it may just be falling together for the first time. When your life looks like it's falling apart, it may be falling together for the first time. And for me, that's always been true. At every juncture in my life. I can give you 15 junctures. Losing relationships, losing jobs, losing my health from time to time, and losing money. I've lost tons of money. I mean, I'm talking big amounts of money. Stuff that that made it look like my life was falling apart. Only to find out that in fact it was falling together. And as I've gotten older and a little bit more experienced in these matters, I've learned how to use the data from that falling apartness to the putting togetherness at the next level up. Thus to turn what looked like it was a curse into a blessing. And actually get down on my hands and knees a couple of months or a couple of years later and bless the day that that happened to me and bless the person who caused it to happen. That's why there are no victims and no villains in the universe. See, God says, I have sent you nothing but angels. I've sent you nothing but angels. Helpful? And that's how to use the law of opposites. To create a context within which you can create that better relationship, that better job, that next largest experience. Yes, ma'am.
I'm okay with all of that in my life. What feels uncomfortable to me is when you say that it shows up either in my life or the next door neighbors. And can you say more about how that works? If I want better health and then poor health shows up for somebody else, how does that work?
It's all your fault and you go out and shoot yourself. It's impossible. I'm so bad. It is impossible to create an effect in the life of another without their consent. So, it's a good question. It's a fair question. It is impossible to create any effect in the life of another without their consent. That is, every creation involving more than a single person is a co-creation. So if the person across the street does become ill, it's because they chose to, for reasons singular to their own experience, but working nevertheless in concert with yours as the matrix continues to pulsate with the collective awareness of all that we are and seek. It's the matrix, it's the matrix, it's the matrix.
So it's an agreement we made on some level.
No, you might have made it just that morning. But yes, on a different level, yes.
The two of us.
Yes. Yeah. See, consider the possibility that God placed you, that is the part of you that is God, placed you across the street from that person at just the right time, knowing that within 6 months they would become very ill, so that you could know wellness, as an example. Or to put this another way, consider the possibility that all things are happening perfectly, just as they are occurring. If you want to look deeply into this, read a book by Byron Katie called Loving What Is. Loving What Is? A magnificent book by Byron Katie.